Sir from 17 once again. This is going to be just a little audio commentary with probably a nice picture in the background to express the tangent that I'm about to go on, because it's been a while since I just did something along these lines that wasn't Dark Souls orientated. And as a lot of you know, the channel is about more than just Dark Souls. The whole point of the channel is to be diverse, to bring interesting stuff, bring different stuff, and keep people interested and entertained. And I hope I achieve that. Sometimes I probably don't, and thus people leave. And for the majority, I kind of do, and thus they stay. But social media is a massive part of YouTube. It's a massive part of networking. It's a massive part of a lot of things. And I've got to say that I am a child of the 80s. Technology is not necessarily an enemy of mine, but I can be quite slow and stubborn when it comes to, embracing certain things that I don't really see much function in personally. It's all a personal choice. I am not a big social media guy. I do quite enjoy Twitter, but aside from that, I don't really do anything other socially medial except for YouTube, which is where I interact with you kind folks, and that is pretty much it. Everything else I do face to face. I don't like phones. I don't like any of that shit. I'm not a Facebooker. I am what I am. It sounds so simple and earnest, but there really is a rarity in today's generation, in today's world, of that, because a lot of people have these constructs that they make, these idealized versions of themselves which they display online, because that's how they want themselves to be in the real world. That's how they want to live their life, but for whatever reasons they're not able to do so. So instead they're in this endless charade, this masquerade of something that's not them, and that will never be me. When you meet me, if you ever do, you will notice the first thing is I act almost exactly like I do in the videos, for better or for worse. You can't fake what I am. I can't do it. I just do. That's it. There's no thinking about it. It's just is, and it's natural, and it's something that people will like, something that some people will dislike. So I've never really needed that mask, because I've never really had a mask. I don't need that safety blanket, that safeguard. If I offend you, I've offended you, and I'll deal with it. I'm not going to run away and pretend or immediately apologise before I've even given you the chance to interpret the words and be offended. I'm quite a confrontational person, and it's not a negative thing, and it's not a violent thing. It's just a case of, that's how I live my life. But there are many benefits aside from the social stratus of these websites, and one of them is making sure that people are getting the information that I'm putting out there and getting to the content that I'm uploading. Anyone who's been with me for quite some time will obviously know my upload schedule is kind of sporadic at best. There are times when I'll hit your sub box really hard. There are other times when it'll be a much more leisurely pace, and sometimes that can be difficult for people, sometimes it's too much. It's one of those things that I can't really dictate, because I don't know the projects I'm working on until I'm doing them, and I don't know the time frames and things. But things like live streaming is something that I have at my capacity, to a very, very small capacity, which is to play live and to talk to some people that are interested in the channel and have a good time. And it is a really good time. The only problem is my quality is not the best, so the only people that are really there are the people that are really, really interested, and we pull anywhere between like 8 people to 40, 50 people, so it's always a decent, nice number. It's nothing too imposing or intimidating, but it's one of those things where I have like 12,000 subscribers, and whereas I don't expect all of those people to watch, because the truth of the matter is they don't, it would be nice to get new people in, and to get people who ask all these questions and all these pieces of personal information and all these inquisitive minds that I get on my videos, if I could get them in the stream, because then it's easier for me and it's a much more personal experience. So the point of this video is just to enlighten the people watching, or the people who aren't aware, that I do have a Facebook page, even though I'm not a Facebooker, and I am quite actually opposed to what Facebook is and how it has been bastardized by fake people and glossy fucking facades. It's just... But enough of that. It is not run by myself. It is run for me by a guy called Sofrek1991, who's been a subscriber for quite some time. He's putting in a lot of work there. I do not pay him. I do not give him anything. If anything, I probably give him too much shit when he's, so altruistically kind to me. And I'm going to leave a link for the Facebook if you want to be a part of it and you want to speak to people who, like yourself, have a mutual interest in the channel, and build up these. I keep mentioning an empire, and it's kind of bad to say this empirical friendship, but that's kind of what it is. It's this community of people that think the same way as you, and that is a fantastic area for that, because I know, unlike me, the rest of the world is on this Facebook island and loving it, so that could be a cool avenue, and thus in the description will be the Facebook page. And anybody who is a fan of it, who's enjoying it, or who's doing things with it, needs to give a big thank you to Sofrek, because he's the person who makes it possible. Like, I abhor Facebook. I only go on it to talk to my girlfriend because it's easier than texting her on my old shitty-ass phone. That is literally it. But on top of that, I also have a Twitter, which... Twitter is an interesting one. I really like Twitter, but at times it can annoy me. And it annoys me because there are a lot of moments where people ask questions that have been answered numerous times on the channel, and there seems to be no transparency between it. It's almost like if you did watch more content, you wouldn't ask the question. It's one of those things where it deals with itself if people sometimes are a little bit more observant. But I understand that it's also an avenue for people to feel like they can get closer to people and to feel like they can ask those questions. And a lot of the time I am compelled to reply, even if I'm not in the best moods, or even if it's a question that I personally don't really like. But the thing with Twitter, or the ideal function of it for me, is to share thoughts, share updates on the channel, share silly things, and occasionally have those spin-off conversations when something happens. It's not necessarily to have, a million questions bombarded at me, because that's not the function of it. There is a personal message facility on YouTube where you can do that to your heart's content. I can't promise I'll reply, even though I do try my damnedest, but Twitter is not that for me. Twitter is just, is it 120 characters of sheer insanity every so often, and then maybe something slightly more functional when I can, work that up. But once again, if you want to follow me on Twitter, which is probably the best way to learn about constant updates of the channel without me needing to do update videos, which are something I enjoy doing but I don't do quite as frequently as perhaps I should, that is the best avenue to get this kind of information. And then lastly will be the live streaming one. As I've already mentioned, I do live stream over on Twitch. I'll leave the description, the link in it. I do live stream under a different name, but there are a few reasons for this. A, I never thought I would live stream, and B, I did it so that I had, some kind of association with the channel, but a little bit of anonymity, which sometimes works in my favour, sometimes works against me. A lot of people don't understand why I wouldn't have, complete brand saturation, where all the brands are the same, they're all unified and they're all well established and known. Well, I did it for the exact opposite of that reason. I didn't want people recognising the name in these other streams, because the worst thing that can happen to a folk when you're in these live streams is when people start talking about your stuff in someone else's stuff, effectively. I find it, like, I'll reply and stuff, and I'll be as jovial and as polite as I can, but then I'll try and swiftly move it on, because we're not about me when we're watching someone else's stream. This is their stream, this is their world, it's about them. We're just grateful that we can share this experience with other people, and I just don't think it's very nice when that happens. It's the same as posting a link to someone else's content on someone's content. To me, that's like pissing on the Mona Lisa. It's pissing on someone's art, and it's extremely disrespectful. But I did it intentionally so that not everybody could find it. It would only be the more perceptive people who found it, the people that, have the best things to say, the best conversations, because unfortunately, guys, there's a thing on YouTube where the dumbest folks are the loudest, and I don't want dumb folks on my channel. I want cool people, nice people. I want people who are willing to debate things and are willing to not get too easily offended. I don't want those sycophantic idiots that argue everything, because they don't get anywhere with that. All that happens is it becomes extremely negative and they end up getting blocked. I just want the people that want to be there and are enjoying themselves and are enjoying the company and the discussion. And you can't have that. You can't universally have that, because there's always going to be the contrarian. There's always going to be that other person who is arguing against it, and it's just, such is just life. But that is one of the other elements of that. But it has worked against me, because people are having problems understanding where I stream, which, once again, is it really so difficult? In my About section on YouTube, it tells you where I stream. It gives a link to it. You know, I've mentioned it numerous times. I've done bulletins that have said where I streamed and things for quite some time, and it's one of those things where just because I know and just because a lot of people know doesn't mean everyone knows, and I can be quite guilty for that, for no other reason than a lack of patience at times with the ignorance of others, which is not their fault, it's my fault. But I am working on it, guys. I'm not perfect, but I do stream. It is in terrible quality, and you need to know it's in terrible quality, because I don't know how anybody watches my streams, because I can't watch bad quality streams. And it's not because the content is bad, it's because I get so fucking mad that my internet keeps chugging. And this is in the reverse. This is not the people's internet chugging, this is my internet chugging, and thus their video is chugging. So I am at marvel that people even stay. And they stay for reasons above the stream, which I understand completely. And in the coming future, I will be getting upgraded internet, and it will be a much better stream, and then we'll probably be laughing. But what I wanted to do is just put this video out there to say that there are other mediums where you can catch me. There are other mediums where you can integrate with the people that like the channel, and hopefully they will increase with the channel, and they'll turn into something, quite beautiful. Something that I've been saying for a very long time. It'll be almost 3 years when we hit December, which is a long-ass time. But we're still here, we're still fighting, and as always, you take care now.